and welcome to a new Ascension update with me, Shruti. I'll be in front of the camera in just a bit, but I just wanted to give you a shot of the beautiful beach, and look at that, there's birds flying. I don't know if you can see, but this Ascension update is speaking about a grander cycle than just those little changes that we go through, and I'll be explaining how further in this video. But recently my guides have been bringing to my attention how we are at the next level in our ascension now. We're beginning to step into it, so it's like stage 2. And just like in my previous video about the galactic Pleiadian gateway, I was speaking about how a human goes through different cycles in their life, different stages. So for example, the first stage might be when we're learning, when we're children and we're students. The next stage, marriage and looking after other life, whether it's your spouse or children. And then when you're older, it's like what we call retired now. Used to be back in the day, renunciation, where people would go into the woods, or they would just embrace a more spiritual, solitary kind of life, and the higher meaning of life. And just like that, in our Ascension 2, when we are ascending as souls living in a body, we go through different stages. Everything is not going to happen just all at once. And stage 1 was more about our personal empowerment and coming into our presence, and now we are beginning to see small bits of the stage 2. We're entering it, and that has to do with partnerships and co-creation in service. And it's only when a being is fully strong within themselves and empowered, they can stand in their own frequency, that they can actually fully be present with another person too, and not get swayed from their presence. And that is when, because that's such a high frequency, it's the frequency of service, of divine love. So that is what we are entering, what we will be co-creating in the years to come. And just keep watching this video to know more. Recently, Spirit has been bringing me so many different messages about the fact that we have actually begun a new, it's like a new timeline has landed for ascending souls. And I'll be speaking about everything that's happening, but keep in mind that everything that's changing, it depends on how integrated you are in your self-mastery, because there's different levels to ascension. There's the awakening level, and then after that, if I'm to divide it into stages, then let's say the next level is more about opening up and connecting to the divine. And then the next level, which is actual ascension, is about embodying the divine, embodying your I am presence. And when we do that fully, that is when the ascension process actually becomes complete. And it depends on where we are in our ascension process, and the changes and the new that I'm going to be speaking about, that is now available to us, will apply to you more the stronger you are in your ascension mastery. But as always, I'm going to be bringing through the highest level of mastery that we can activate on this planet at this time. So that's what this video is about. So in case you're watching this and you're some of these things don't apply to you yet, just don't worry about it, because when we're receiving these higher messages, something, and we're also willing, then something does internally shift, and to the degree that we're ready for, and then we can apply it in the physical. Hopefully I don't fall down. So the first point that I want to make is that the focus from in our ascension is shifting more from being coming into our presence was the first stage. So the first stage is when the soul focuses on integrating their own soul and their I am presence. So like I was saying, coming into your self-mastery fully, coming into your ascension. And then the next stage is when we take our presence into the world, into the 3D world, and knowing what to do with it. So this is what is going to be changing, and where all the changes that I'm speaking about now, they're only at the beginning stages. So this Ascension update, because it relates to a grander cycle, then the changes also happen more slowly and are, because it's a grander cycle, and we're beginning to see just the emergence of these things. So you can see how that applies in your life, and of course, as these changes happen more and more, they become more and more physically grounded for us in the coming years and next year and so on. Then I'll speak more about it also, but I'll do what I can today to speak about what we're landing. So the focus basically is shifting on physical sustainability and building long-lasting creations and relationships. And because when we move out into the world, the most important factor then becomes relationships, whether it's business relationships, and networking, or whether it's our personal relationships. So other people become important, and that's why there's going to be a focus, on these co-creations. But so far in our ascension, in the past few years, especially, we've also been meeting, other souls. But the focus perhaps was more about integrating, the soul mirroring that happens and what these souls reflect to you about your own soul codes, and then you come into your own. So it had, the co-creations were still there, but they had more to do, the focus was more on our own empowerment and doing that through others as well. But this stage that I'm speaking about now is more about service. So it's more that 2 or more people come together, and there's going to be more of a focus on service. So even though of course, when 2 beings come together, even when they're doing their own empowerment, that's, a lot of service in itself, because we haven't seen these high levels of vibration on the planet. But like I keep saying, that the focus of that stage was empowerment and coming into our own, and the focus now is more about service and co-creations that go out into the world that are long lasting and sustaining. So things are becoming more physical, as always, with Ascension, and this is one example how. So we might be gravitating towards relationships and even our business related partnerships that are more long lasting, and this has to do with the fact that now if we have mastered a certain degree of ourselves and we know what we are, then we bring that enlightenment, that presence into the external, and that's why the focus then becomes about that. So here I've written that the focus is not just on individual mastery now, and the doors now that are opening up where you move into interactions and co-creations with others. So be open to this, because often when we start something new, when a new level of ascension opens up, we're called to embrace certain different things, and we might not have been open in the same way before because it wasn't required. But the doors that are opening up now have to do with where we are a little bit flexible, when it comes to co-creation with others and allowing, something new to come in. So another thing I've written here is that we are mastering how to fit new spiritual energy into social establishments, be they work related or just networking with people. Basically it's like when we speak about the Syrians, for example, they're often connected to spiritual technology and how they are masters of this. They work with the light, and they know how to, but also they know about the physical body, and they know how to bring that higher technology and apply it in the physical in such a way that it works for the physical being, and the needs that the physical human has, and the body that we have. So for example, yoga, is an example of that. And in this age now, whatever codes that we receive from the higher realms, depending on how open we are, then we will be called to move out, into the world and apply it in perhaps structures that already exist as well, whether it's the people that you're working for. So let's say it's a company, maybe a new age company that you're working for, or then you bring your own light and your own knowledge that's been given to you, and you do things in a new way. It's always about doing it in a new way that's aligned with the flow of the now, the flow of this age. And it's the same with relationships. So for example, if you have activated a certain level of tantric flow within yourself, this kundalini energy, that's one matter. I can stand here and I know how to be fully present, but when you meet another, then a lot of things come up. So then the focus now in the coming years will be on creating this tantric energy, with others too, knowing how to do that as well. And like I keep saying, we have been doing this also in the past few years, but now it'll be more focused. So there's more of a focus on people coming together and just creating something that's bigger than just one person and bigger than just the two individuals, and it has to do with service. At Saturn, the planet that rules making things grounded, and it's the planet to me that talks about really being practical and physically grounded, and seeing things as they are in reality. And this planet is changing signs in the month of December, and it changes signs every 2.5 years, so it's not that frequent. And when it changes signs, then we can really feel the difference, so it's interesting to note how when these grander cycles, these higher cycles of our ascension, they also occur when these astrological bigger changes are happening too. And how this is also connected to what I was speaking about is that we are being pushed to make some changes. So it's not just something gentle happening right now. It's more like things are being shown to us, the truth is being revealed to us, to our face, and now we really need to make some changes. So this will be impacting different areas of your life. So for example, and I'm going to speak about this aspect, but if you don't know astrology, just listen to it in a basic way and apply it to your life. And if you know astrology, then you can check your chart. So for example, I'm a Cancer rising, and Saturn was in the sign of Sagittarius the past 2.5 years, which is the 6th house for me, because the 6th house rules is in the sign of Sagittarius for a Cancer rising, and that's the house of health. The 6th house rules health and daily routines. And now that it's moving out, it's going to be moving into its own sign of Capricorn in December. But right before it does that, it kind of gives these results of the house that it's been in, all the things that you've been working on, or the answers that you've been seeking regarding health, and for me, for example, regarding health and daily routines, is kind of coming into its final stages. And part of that is being shown to us, is the bare truth is revealed to us where we weren't fully grounded. So for example, for me, I went to a doctor recently, and I turned vegan about 4 years ago, but I didn't really go to any specialist, and I just changed my diet on my own. And finally, I should have done this before, but finally I did go to a specialist, and it was shown to me that I actually do have some nutritional deficiencies. And so now I've been working with my nutritionist on this new diet, and right now I'm on a detox diet. But you see, these are the kind of things that are happening, and I was really shocked to find some of the things that were in my report. Others weren't so surprising, but I never went to a doctor before this, because in my head I had that perception that when you go to a doctor, they give you steroids and things like that, and that is not aligned with how I live my life in a more holistic way. But when the soul really has this deeper calling, and realizes that something grander is needed, then the right things show up. So this doctor, for example, that I found is, she's actually a holistic one, and she doesn't even prescribe medicines. It's all about this diet that is very close to vegan that she prescribes. So for me, she was able to give me it was exactly what I was looking for, but I had no idea what that was. And it, in retrospect, then it brought me many answers, like why I would feel weak at certain moments, and I would attribute it to something else that was energetic, like being in a crowd of people and feeling a little bit weak. But we can't just work at that level. We are a physical being, and sometimes these things are physical too. But at the same time, whatever is being shown to you right now, just don't be too hard on yourself. Be sure to fully acknowledge what's there within humility. We might be surprised at what we find and wonder how this even happened and how we let it happen. But the key is to be humble and just know that you are kind of being rescued in a way. Okay, everyone, so actually my battery is, there's not a lot of battery left. So I'm going to wrap this up. But basically what I wanted to say was, make sure that you're being compassionate towards yourself, because amongst all of these changes that we go through in our ascension, it's something that's new, that's pioneering, and we are doing it for the first time, and it can be hard to distinguish in the beginning what's physical and what's energetic and all of those things. But all of these tests that come up in our life are here to show us that that's the real reason we even have them. So see them for what they are, instead of looking at life as this something that's really really hard for you. Life is never like that. It just presents opportunities, and when we recognize what that opportunity is and we flow with it, then we are in flow, and we flow with the Holy Spirit, because that's the highest level of flow. And when you're flowing with the Holy Spirit, there's nothing that can go wrong. Of course, we're constantly shedding layers and going through different cycles, but that's exactly what we are supposed to do. So just make sure to embrace what you are being shown, and it's actually an answered prayers kind of an energy for the reasons that I've just explained. So let me see if there's anything else I wrote down. So it's saying that we are being pushed to fully penetrate and take stock of those areas that we avoided in our ascension. So that's really what's happening now. Okay, everyone, so that's it from me. I really hope that you enjoyed this ascension update and the beginning of this grand cycle. And once I have more to say, once more is occurring, then I will speak about it. But I just wanted to bring you up to date about the messages that I was receiving. And if you would like to engage with me in a more personal way, then have a look at my private sessions. I have different kinds of services, from Skype sessions to art-based services like galactic portraits. I want to show you something. I don't know if someone's actually put a couch right in the middle of the beach. Yeah, this is Ocean Beach in San Francisco. That's where I live. And yeah.